What's up guys, Justin Greenwald here with 65drums.com, and today I'm talking about the Roland TD30k. This is my 4 years later review. I did a review back in 2012, one of my earliest videos on this channel, and I really like this drum set. I've played with it for 4 years. It's been bumping around in my trailer. I've dropped the module a few times. I've made tons of videos with it. How does it stand up 4 years later with all of that wear and tear, and as we're getting close to the Roland TD40 release? Will it still be worth buying right now? I'm going to answer all of that and do some kit examples for you guys near the end of the video, so make sure to watch all the way to the end. So what do I think of this drum set in its entirety? I think this is a very solid drum set. Now, you're not getting really large pads for the price though. That's the only problem with this drum set. All of the toms are 10-inch. You've got a 12-inch snare. You've got a 12-inch kick drum. You've got the VH 11-inch hi-hat. You've got a 13 and a 12 crash cymbals. And all the pads are rock solid. I really like the VH11. It mounts on an acoustic hi-hat stand, and unlike other cheaper alternatives you can buy, this thing just has this feeling of quality about it, and the rubber is pretty bouncy, so you're getting that, that rebound that you would get from a metal cymbal. I really do like that. Sometimes other drum manufacturers will use a thinner coating of rubber, so you're hitting a piece of plastic and there isn't as much rebound, meaning you can't play as fast. I love the Roland cymbals. Pretty much they're the best I've played in the entire electronic drum industry to date. No one has really beat them in my mind, at least yet. It's gonna happen eventually, but right now Roland cymbals are pretty much the best that you can possibly buy. Kick drum is great. You will need to make some adjustments though, so that it doesn't scoot around all over the place. But once you get all that locked down, it is an excellent kick drum. I love the ride cymbals and the crash cymbals. You'll probably want to turn up the sensitivity on those cymbals because they seem not quite as sensitive as I would like, but all that is easily fixed in the drum module. But really guys, the pads are nothing to write home about. The only thing about them is that they are super high quality, but they're not as large as I would like them to be. But they are rock solid, and if you want to resell one or two of the pads on eBay, you can still get a lot of money from them because of the Roland logo on them. The real power behind this drum set is the drum module. I don't care how awesome the pads are. If the drum module sucks, then the entire drum set sucks. Because not everyone wants to use EasyDrummer software or run it through Logic or whatever the heck people do with it. I love using the drum module that comes with the drum set. And if those sounds are crappy, and I paid over $2,000 for that drum set, then I really have a low opinion of that drum set, because the module for me is the heartbeat of the entire drum set. And the Roland TD30 module is still pretty much the best drum module out there that you can buy that I've played so far. It is an excellent drum module. There are lots of sounds in the drum module, but even the Alesis DM10 module has a lot of sounds in it. That doesn't really matter. What really matters is the quality of those sounds. There are quite a few drum sets in this drum module that are actually playable, and that's a big compliment, because sometimes in a drum module you'll find like 3 drum sets that you'll want to actually use. In this drum module, there are quite a few drum sets that you would actually really want to use. And another great thing that no one really talks about is that you have access to the entire library of the Roland TD20 sounds in the module. You have to go through some menus. I made a whole video about that. But yeah, you have all the Roland TD20 sounds as well, so you're getting like 2 modules in one. But another great thing about this drum module is not how many sounds it has, it's the control you have over those sounds. I'll be playing some kit examples a little bit later, and I'll have a tutorial I'm going to be releasing also probably sometime in this week. But you have so much control over those sounds. You have virtual mic placement. For the kick drum, you can change the size of the mic to get a more punchy sound, a bigger, deeper sound. You also have control over what kind of virtual drum head you're using, either coated, pinstripe, clear. You have control of all that. For the kick drum, you have control over what kind of kick drum beater you're using virtually, so you can choose from like wood or felt or plastic. You also have control over things like shell depth, which is really important to get a bigger sound or a bigger bassy sound. You also can choose the room ambience. You can choose whether or not your drum set will be in a virtual stadium or a virtual studio. You can change the wall texture of those different rooms. You can do things like add rivets to the cymbals and decide how many rivets are in the cymbals. You can add like a tambourine to the hi-hat. You can add like a tambourine to your snare, or even a clapping sound to your snare, and adjust the volume of that. Also, you have a lot of effects on this drum module too. There's a whole section of just effects. I'll probably be doing an example near the end of the video in the kits. You want to have distortion on your drums? Done. You want to have like a wah sound on your drums? Done. There are lots of different controls over these effects, and they're not like pressing the forward button and go through the effects. You can deeply edit every single effect there is. It is incredible. There's also compressors on every individual pad, and then you can lay a master compressor on top of all of that. The control that you have over the sounds in this is absolutely nuts. And what a lot of people try to do is replicate a famous drum set that they've heard that they want to have like a kind of like a replica of that sound. People will try to do that. And I've had a couple of people email me over the past year or two asking for help trying to recreate a certain snare sound or a certain kick drum sound. And sometimes you can get close. Every time you make a little tweak, it affects the sound drastically, and it'll take you a while to master this drum module. When I first got it, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this drum module? It is so huge. There are so many things you can do. It's a bit overwhelming. You don't know how to get around with it. But when you learn how to use this drum module, you'll really enjoy the amount of control you have over your sound. Now, this drum module does cater more to the pop type sound and the jazz type sound, and some more classic stuff like 70s drums. This drum module is not that strong in the metal sound department or the hard rock sound department, but you can easily create a hard rock drum set. At least I can, because of all the experience I've had using it. But you're not going to get great hard rock sounding drums that you would want to go out and play out with right away as a default. You'll have to create those sounds by editing some of the kits that are already in there. Also, you can control this entire drum set with a foot switch. So if I take a look at guitar foot switch A and B and plug it into a special port on the back of the drum module, if I press a button, I can assign that button to do anything. So let's say I'm playing a set of songs in a concert. If I press the A button, I'll switch to the next kit without having to go fiddle around with the drum module and move on to the next kit in that chain of kits I have. Or let's say I want to throw off the snare chain. Press a button with my foot, and there, the chain sound is gone. There's a lot of different things you can do with that foot switch, which again is great for the flexibility. You can do so much with this drum module. Now, you can't import your own samples, which is pretty sad since this drum module is like over $2,000 by itself. And that's a limitation that really should not be there on this Roland TD30. Maybe in their next module they'll have that, but right now that doesn't have that feature. There is a USB port where you can import songs, so that's nice. You can play to songs, and I believe you can slow down the song or speed it up, and then maybe select like a 20-second loop of one part of the song you want to learn how to nail. Yeah, you can do that and just play to that 20 seconds over and over again. So I think that's a pretty sweet feature. You can also buy a little wireless USB dongle that you plug into the back of the module, and then that will connect to your home Wi-Fi, and then you can record the drums wirelessly to your phone. It's only for iPhones, but you connect it to your phone and you can record a sound file of your drumming right there. I actually have a whole video showing you how to use that. I'll leave that link down in the description below if you want to see how to do that. And one other small thing I like about this drum module is that there are two very, very large plus and minus buttons that you can press with a drumstick or a finger. Let's say you're playing and you don't have a foot switch and you need to switch to a kit. Quick, you can go over and press it. If it was a small little button like that, like some drum modules like to put on their interface, it'd be easy to miss the button. But when they're like this big, they're kind of hard to miss. These are the little attention to detail things that I really like about this drum module. Also, you have the metronome, and also you have the mix import. And the great thing is that you can have whatever you want going to the master outs. So let's say you want to listen to a click track, but you don't want the master out to have it. That means you can play to a click track and the audience can't hear the click track, which is pretty nice as well. So the only thing this module can't do is fly. And that's also the problem here, because there's so much, it can be very, very overwhelming. And you won't get the sound you want right out of the box. You gotta work for it. There are plenty of great sounds in there. You just have to go exploring and find them. The tools are in there. It just takes some work to find out how to use it. So now I'm gonna play some kit examples for you guys, including a kit I built myself. I think you'll really enjoy it. Here's that clip. So as you can see, it sounds great. I really love the flexibility of this drum set and everything. But what is the downside to buying this drum set? Well, there are two that I can think of right now. The first one is the Roland TD40 is probably just around the corner. I wouldn't be surprised if it came out next year. So there's that. If you want to be on the cutting edge of whatever electronic drum set's coming out, the Roland TD40 is about to come out, the Alesis Strike Pro is coming out, the Pearl Mimic is coming out. A lot of big drum sets are coming out next year, and by buying this, you may miss out on a way better drum set whenever they're released. So there's that risk. And the other problem is that this is a really, really expensive drum set, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I may love this drum set, but it is overpriced. That's why I bought it as a 30-day return, and I saved 700 bucks. It cost 4,500 bucks. I got it for 3,800 bucks. And if I had bought it used, I may have been able to find it for even less than that. So I really do recommend buying this thing used, because Roland products have a great reputation of lasting forever and having a great resale value. So even if you don't like it, you can sell it again and get a bunch of your money back. So yeah, buy it used because it is overpriced, but I still really do love that drum set. It is not perfect. It can be a little overly complex, and the screen, I wish it was color and possibly touchscreen, but for what you're getting, it is still one of the best electronic drum sets that is being sold right now. So I still really do recommend it, even 4 years later. I've even dropped the drum module 2 or 3 times and it still works. It's bumped around in a trailer. I've played with it so many times. I've taken it apart and put it in my car and then reassembled it. I'm actually going to be taking it to a camp soon. So it really can take a beating, and you know what? I still love it 4 years later, so I would recommend buying it used if you find a great deal on it. One other quick thing, I'm about to release a master tutorial on the drum module, so be sure to watch out for that. I hope this video helped you out. I do release a new video every single Sunday about electronic drums, so be sure to subscribe if you want to see all of those. And also follow me on Facebook, 65 Drums, and now I have an Instagram account, 65drums. So be sure to follow me on there. On Instagram, I release drum covers. I'll see you guys next week.